Research Triangle Park, just outside Raleigh, North Carolina. To say wildly interesting place would be an understatement of the year. It's also the home of Bayer Crop Science, and I had the opportunity to spend some time with both the seed team and the seed treatment team, as well as visit the very impressive Bee Care Center. It was a great trip. The takeaways were significant. Probably the number one thing that sticks in my head, and I heard this word throughout the interviews that I performed, throughout the people that I talked to, and the word was collaboration. Collaboration was key. And the concept that went along with collaboration was ideas don't have to be our own, they have to be the best ideas. And this is a group that understands how to execute on those ideas and take the ball and run with it. It was great. It was inspiring, quite frankly, because the connections and the commitment to collaboration were significant. Mr. Frank Terhorst gave me a quote that I may very well have to pay him royalties on. And the quote went along these lines: "We're past the era where doing the right thing is enough. We must show how and why. Tell the story. Tell the story and tell the story again." I love it. It's exactly what the seed industry has to focus on, and I think it captures the sentiment and the commitment that Bayer has shown in the work, the research, the products that they're providing. So bravo to Bayer. Thank you for the opportunity to see a little bit of how the program works, and I believe that this captures a great slice of a day at Bayer. Enjoy.
I'd like to welcome everyone to Bayer's Bee Care Center here at our North American headquarters in Research Triangle Park, North Carolina. You know, I think one thing the agriculture industry in general, and that includes seed companies, companies like Bayer, and even farmers, one thing we don't do enough of is talk about how important bee health is to us. Quite frankly, there's probably no one that has a bigger stake in bee health than those that are involved in agriculture. We use them to pollinate our crops. They can increase yields for growers. For seed companies, for instance, the canola seed companies out in Canada are probably the biggest users of pollinator services out there. And so if there's anybody that has a stake in bee health, it's the agriculture community, and that's a message we all need to be communicating. Stewardship is certainly one of the most important things we do. It's a fundamental pillar of our Bee Care program. A couple of initiatives I'll highlight. Our CARE program is really focused at growers and educating them on bee health and how they can be responsible stewards and bee leaders in the bee care world. It involves things like talking to their local beekeepers, knowing where the hives are, knowing best management practices for using the products. Another area we spend a lot of time and investment on research, both in new products and how we can make the current products we have even better. And so a couple years ago we launched what we call Fluency Agent, which is a seed lubricant for planters that dramatically reduces dust off when seeds are being planted. And while it's not a huge problem for bee health, it can make enough of a difference that it's been quite popular out in the field. We've been involved with bee health for almost 30 years now, and we opened the Bee Care Center about 2 years ago, and it's really the physical manifestation of why we're involved in bee health. It serves a few different purposes. It's a great tool for education and outreach. It's open to the public. We've had almost 10,000 people visit since we've opened, but it's also a research facility. You can come in here any day of the week, and it seems like every time I come in there's a new science experiment going on, and I learn something new. So it's just been a really great tool to talk about bee health. It's been a great tool to attract scientists, and it's great to see school kids come in here, get excited about bee health, learn what they can do to help, and then later that afternoon you may see a grower community come in and they start talking about their experiences in working with beekeepers and see them learn something new. You know, the Bee Care program really does involve everything that we do, from basic research and starting products to testing them for regulatory approvals, to moving on to the stewardship of those products out in the field. And those are all things that we do here at our RTP headquarters, from developing new seeds and traits to testing seed treatments and things like that. And so it's great to have here as we pull in the driveway every day. It's kind of a reminder of why we do what we do and why it's important.
We're able to collaborate and solve these issues with everybody under one roof. We start off with the formulations group, or developing a product that's going to have stability and shelf life, but we also have to have seed safety and we have to have application abilities. So by having all these departments under one roof in one building, we're able to collaborate to where if we have an application issue or a plantability issue with a formulation, instead of writing a report and sending that off to the formulation chemist, we can bring the chemist in, show him the issue, and discuss it so that we have a product that's stable, usable, but will also function in the equipment and the planting and is safe to the seed while maintaining the efficacy. So we get that interaction between all the different experts so that we have a product that provides all of these attributes at once. And it saves a lot of time, saves a lot of money, and keeps that process moving so that we can deliver the product in the minimum amount of time with the highest level of quality.
Bayer's bringing all kinds of unique traits and characteristics to the seed sector. Where does Bayer look when considering what R&D investments, and how do you keep up with end user, I'll call them demands?
So we do kind of retro planning. So we are basically like with the team of Rick Turner, who is close to the farmers, close to the business, and then with the strategy group, we are just discussing what are the needs that we anticipate for the farmers in 10, 15 years, because we in research need to anticipate that long, but it takes us that long to bring something to the market. So it's a discussion with all the people that are close to the users, and say, okay, they will need that for this geography, this crop, and this trait, and then we look at our program and say, okay, this will be our priorities for the next years, is working on this trait. So it's really starting from the user need back to what we can do in research to address that.
Right. So, and you've been very active in sequencing the wheat genome.
Yep.
Spent a whole life on it.
A big 10 years of my life.
10 years of your life. What will it mean when to wheat breeding when we've got this mapped?
So when you speak about map, it's an analogy for me with a roadmap. Like when you are somewhere, you want to go somewhere, if you have a map, you have the name of the streets and the number of the houses, then you reach the destination much better than when you have no indication. So that's what it will bring, the wheat genome. It will give us indication of where the genes are located on the chromosomes, and then we will be able to link, the genes with the traits in the field. So let's say we are interested in improving a resistance to a disease, then we can see, okay, there are these genes in this chromosome that are responsible for the resistance. So when breeders want to introgress these traits, even through classical breeding, they will have much better information to do that, in a conscious way. So we are going from a breeding where you cross the best by the best and then you select in the field using a phenotypic selection, going now through a marker-assisted selection where we can have markers for the traits. And if we want to engineer the traits through biotechnology approaches, then we can do it too, because we have the knowledge of which gene we should engineer.
Right. When it comes to trait development, what are the key areas that you're investing your research time on?
So, these are the ones we define based on the needs from the farmers. So at the moment, at Bayer, we have different businesses. We have cotton, canola, we are in soybean, and we have ambition for wheat. So this translates into my program. Since I'm at the beginning of the pipeline, we have projects, in these 4 crops. And then depending on the needs and how advanced we are in the pipeline, then we are defining projects. So we are working on pest control, we are working on herbicide tolerance, we are working on disease control, and as well on what we call crop efficiency, which is basically yield. So improving the yield per se, but as well protecting the yield against drought, abiotic stress, for example.
Rick, Bayer is seen as a leader, bringing unique traits, characteristics to the seed sector on an ongoing basis. From a seed perspective, where does Bayer look to when considering how to fill that innovation pipeline?
So innovation is something that is incremental to the base of technologies there, and it's also exploratory into new zones. So we have our core programs that are focused on herbicide traits and insecticide traits, but we're also looking at new areas where you can improve agronomy through plant performance, and these are areas that we would consider to be true innovation. The others we would consider to be step innovation.
We've done such a great job in the seed industry on some of these other crops, it makes it harder for wheat to compete.
That's correct, yeah, exactly right.
Bayer has been very active in partnering with other life science companies, with other genomics companies. Why are these partnerships important for Bayer, Rick?
I think it's always great to have outside stimulation. So although we have a great innovation talent internally, there's always other great ideas, and I think collaborations bring another dimension to an organization, and it's through these sort of collaborations you get synergies that you would not have anticipated, different schools of thought, and actually is good for the collaborators because there's a mutual exchange of benefits. So I think these are great ways to sort of bring new things to market. A lot of the innovative companies are much more free to experiment in very different areas. Some of these are startups, and these make good combinations. Companies that have scale are able to move these innovations along and reduce them to practice that maybe the startups don't have the resources to be able to do. So they make great combinations together.
Collaboration seems to be a consistent word that I'm hearing since I've been down here at your facility down here at RTP. I heard internal collaboration with the new facilities and the way you've got them laid out, and I'm hearing industry collaboration pretty loud and clear from you, and that's been the mantra that we continue to hear from Bayer, and I assume that's going to be something that's a long-term focus, maintain those collaborations and stay focused on collaborating internally.
Yeah, I think this is, part of Bayer's culture is to work with others, and I think you see it in people's work and behavior, and frankly in the way we conduct our business as well. So, yeah, we really believe that it takes many to make good things happen, and we're always glad to join others in a journey to make a successful product.